Well, hello everybody and welcome along to PS4 Season 14 F8 live from Malaysia. We're here in Malaysia, of course, in Asia, and it's going to be a very interesting race today. We have our first full grid of the season. What a wonderful sight this is to see. Multiple drivers making their debut. We welcome them all along to the Malaysian Grand Prix, and what a race we all hope this will be. So last time out in Singapore, we had absolute drama as we came to the end of the race. Washi putting the car on the wall and ending up in P7, and McQuiz taking P2 with David Ben taking a stunning victory there. But the championship gap lies at 7 points now, so anything can happen, and it's going to be a very interesting session. And who is going to come out on top by the end of this, we're all waiting to find out. Denzamo coming out onto the track in the Toro Rosso for the 15th time this season. It is round 15. Of course, we have 5 rounds left after this race, and the championship battle is very much on. 20 drivers here today, as we say, and it's going to be a very interesting one indeed. So, let's go through the grid. Who is out on track? David Ben, your winner last time out in Singapore. Absolute domination of that Grand Prix, and a well deserved victory for him. Buffon and the other Ferrari there. Seika P5. Limaro crashed out in Singapore, but is here again in the Sauber. Dyson in P7 in the Force India. Boniface coming out on track in the McLaren. Cali Damus in the Williams in P9. Daniel UK will also be driving the Williams in P10. Ghost Hunter looking for another points finish in P11. Washi, your championship leader, in P12 there, currently on his way out, on his out lap. 7 points clear at the top of the championship. As Zek, oh my goodness me, what's he done there? Ian in P14 looking to continue his 15-round point scoring streak. Rob 2K, we're going to be watching him today. He had some very good pace out in Singapore. Watch him for us challenging for podiums today. Hoink started on the front row in Singapore. Had a great result there as well. Jerry Force making his debut today in the Mercedes alongside, he's a reserve driver of course, but he's making his debut here today. Denzamo is there. McQuiz, the man who is on a charge in the championship, he's in P2 in the championship of course, 7 points behind. And we welcome along More Than Amazing, who makes his debut today in the Sauber. We welcome him back into the AOR racing scene after a brief absence, but he's back, and we're going to see how he's looking today. Well, how about we go for a lap on board with the man who is returning to racing. On board with the Sauber driver as we run around the Kuala Lumpur. In Kuala Lumpur, we're running around the Malaysian circuit. Around down to turn 1. We go on board, dropping it down to 4th gear, getting the car turned in. There's Ian, just letting him through. Long right-hander, quick left. And then we run down to the end of Sector 1 then. More Than Amazing, doing his lap on soft tyres it looks like. So running down to the end of Sector 1, we're going to get hard on the brakes for this right-hander uphill. Get on the power and head towards a very nice section here, keeping it absolutely flat before we slightly lift, heading into the next right-hander. Nice flowing section, bit of a kick of oversteer there, but manages to get it clear. Double apex right-hander here, very nicely taken by More Than Amazing there. Running down to the next section, Denzamo goes top of the tines, the 133.9. And this very tough corner, off camber, easy on the power on the way out, gets it nicely done there. We head to probably the toughest section of the track. A deceivingly tough corner, that one there. And then we head to this next section of left, right, left. And then into the very tough right-hander. Gets it nicely turned in. Washi with the 133.4. Goes top of the timing sheets. There we go then. More Than Amazing. Running down the long back straight. Heading into the final corner. Into the hairpin. Just keeping it tight to the apex and on the power on the way out. Bit of kick of oversteer. Where's this going to put More Than Amazing? That is a lap of the track in Malaysia. He goes P2 with that lap. So showing his early pace. The number 13 is back in AOR there. So David Ben out on track then. Who has not set a lap as of yet. Noodle on his way around the track then. Washi, current pace setter. Where's McQuiz? If we can see where he is, he's in he's P7, so Obviously wasn't a representative lap from him there. Riding on board with the championship contender. Let's see if he can extract more pace out of the car then. Boniface went P5 there, it looked like. So your current top three are Washi, More Than Amazing, and Denzamo. So Sauber is wedged in between Washi and Denzamo. And you gotta say, that's a very impressive lap from More Than Amazing, because he did that lap on the soft tyres. We have Rob 2K in the grass there, having a little bit of a spin. David Ben coming across the line to finish his lap. Where's it going to put him? It's going to go P2 with a 1:33.5. So, a tenth of a second. There is your gaps. 4/10 of a second off the pace is More Than Amazing, but he's on the soft tyre, you got to remember. So, you see that there. Very, very impressive. So then, who else is going to be challenging? Where is McQuiz on track? He's half a second up on his previous best. But he needs more than that. This is going to put him around a 34.1, it looks like. Which is going to put him around 5th place. Or has he found a lot of pace in that middle sector across the line? McQuiz, only P6? So would you look at that? McQuiz, your championship contender, is only in P6. He has to find pace from somewhere. David Ben on the front row currently. Started on pole in Singapore and won from pole position. A very, very nice uptake in form for him today. I think he's on an in-lap. If I'm not mistaken, McQuiz just isn't looking comfortable right now. Out on track, so he needs to get his head in the game. It was like that back in Singapore as well. He only managed to get himself on the second row eventually after a lot of trying, but then again the qualifying session started out in the wet last time. So as we said, the battle for P3 in the championship is well on as well. David Ben in control of that one currently by about a single point, I believe, over Denzal. Most of these guys are really going at it for that P3 in the championship. So McQuiz will have to come in, get himself settled, and get himself another set of tyres to put on. But Washi looking very, very nice indeed with a 1:33.4, tenth of a second over David Ben. But that wouldn't be a comfortable margin. So, who has not set a lap? Danny UK out in the medium compound tyres, interestingly enough. Jason sat on provisional pole for a couple of minutes there in Singapore. Timed the dry tyres to perfection and got a P5 start for himself. So I'm just checking battery levels there. McQuiz gets pushed back into the garage. So, let's see. Can Denzamo improve? He's only about a tenth of a second off More Than Amazing. But More Than Amazing set his lap on a set of soft tyres. So, let's see. If he comes back out on super softs, he could be a real challenger. Washi comes back out on track. McQuiz still in his pit box, but he should come out a little bit later, because I very much doubt he's happy with that time. So, a couple of drivers have not set their laps yet. I think these guys are coming around to finish their laps. That'll be, I think, Jason just up ahead. Let's see where Jason goes. Coming across the line for the Red Bull. He will go into P11 with that lap. That should be Buffon in the background. Coming across the line. Does not improve. So, McQuiz still not out on track. Well, there he comes out on track there. More Than Amazing seems to be happy where he is, so I think he's going to stay where he is. And, did we see a bit of an improvement there for that was David. Was that an improvement or did I miss something there? And would you look at that? Denzamo with a 132.9 steals provisional pole from Washi. Now Washi has really got to step up his game, as do the rest of these guys. What a stunning lap. 132.9, pulled it out of the bag. McQuiz back out on track, of course, on an out lap. These guys have surely been just testing the limits of their cars. They've got to push as hard as they can on this next set of laps. Rob 2K out of nowhere, 133.1, front row of the grid for this man, currently. I told you to watch out for him, and there he is on the front row in the Force India. 133.1, tenth of a second, more than amazing, has retired, so he's happy with where he is, but he will be starting on the soft compound tyre. So then, keeping an eye on the championship leader. Is McQuiz a little bit further on than him? No, he's behind. Or is he about to set? I think he's about to go on to a lap. McQuiz is currently only P7. Buffon goes P5. And sits in behind his Ferrari teammate. So McQuiz is about to go on to a lap. So we'll keep an eye on him. Washi in the final sector. Can Denzamo steal his first pole position of the season? Buffon is happy with where he is. So then, down the back straight, Washi revving the limits of the car. Into the final corner, where is it going to put him? He started in third last time. Is it going to be pole position this time? Across the line, it is 132.5 for Washi. So, David Ben, he's not far behind. Well, he's actually on the back straight. McQuiz in Sector 2 currently. Washi back on provisional pole with a great lap. 4/10 quicker than his teammate. But it's currently a Toro Rosso 1-2 on the front row. Rob 2K in P3 and David Ben in P4. Boniface steals it, 132.8, gets himself on the front row and sandwiches himself between the two Toro Rossos. Now I think Washi actually got across the line before the checkered flag, so he still has got a lap. That's Ian in the wall back there. Denzamo still has another chance if he wants it. McQuiz down the back straight. He's only in P8. He needs more than this. He's 7 points behind Washi in the championship. He needs this to be the absolute lap of his life. Across the line, McQuiz. P6. Would you believe it? 133.4 and almost 9/10 of a second slower than Washi. Heartbreak for the Estonian. David Ben has binned it. Denzamo still on a lap. Can he steal it? He steals the front row and gets pole position. 132.472. A couple of thousandths quicker. Washi backs out of it. 7 thousandths of a second in it. And then Denzamo steals pole position. What a lap. What a drive. Denzamo with pole position for the Malaysian Grand Prix. The first pole position for him this season. Fantastic lap. 7 thousandths of a second. Oh, excuse me. It was actually a 10th of a second. I think it's a 10th of a second at least. Let me just check that. 4.735. Yeah, excuse me, it was a 10th of a second. So Denzamo, great lap, 132.4. Steals pole position away. It was a 10th of a second in the end, excuse me. But that is absolute disaster for the championship contender McQuiz, who will now start in P6. Rob 2K gets himself in P4. Boniface back on the second row, so it's a good drive from him, but it is a Toro Rosso front row with Denzamo leading the two. And I'm not sure what's gone on there, but Boniface has just piloted into the wall. So what an incredible, incredible series of events here. Denzamo gets his first ever pole position this season. And it's going to make for a very, very interesting race. McQuiz has got to really push himself to the absolute limit and get himself into a points pay where he needs to get himself next to Washi. Let's get that confirmation. Denzamo steals pole position from Washi, 132.472, tenth of a second. Boniface in P3, Rob 2K with a fantastic drive, P4. David Ben P5, McQuiz in P6, a second off of Denzamo. Buffon P7, more than amazing in P8 on the soft tyres. Hoink in P9, Noodle in P10, Seika P11, Daniel UK 12th, Jason 13th, Ghost Hunter 14th, Lamara P15, Ian P16, Jerry in P17, Dyson P18, Kai Dames P19, and Zek in P20. So what will Malaysia bring for us today? So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I don't know what I just saw, but I'm going to ignore it. Every driver seems to have spawned in the pit lane and had a miniature explosion. Washi P2, McQuiz P6. How is this going to end? 7 points is the gap in the championship. So if McQuiz were to win and Washi in P2, the championship would be equal. But anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does, and we saw that in Singapore last time out. Can we see Denzamo take his first victory today? Or will Washi extend that championship lead? Well, it's all to play for in Malaysia. Round 15 of the F1 AOR Championship is about to get underway in F8. Grab your popcorn, we're about to go racing. And we go to 5 red lights for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Washi gets away well. Rob 2K gets away very well from the second row. Denzamo leads away. Washi is trying to get past, but Rob is going 4 wide in the background. Is Washi going to try for the lead? Denzamo holds on. Look at them going down the inside. There's contact and Washi goes around in the middle of the pack, and it all went wrong for him. And there he goes around in the gravel trap. What have I done? I mentioned it at the start, but there you go. It's happened. Washi down the back. Denzamo in P1, Rob 2K P2, McQuiz in P3. It's all turned on its head. David Ben in P4, Boniface P5, Buffon P6. Now, Seika into P7, Daniel UK up to P8 with Hoing trying to look in the background. It was always going to end in tears in turn 1, and it definitely has today. Jerry Force in his debut into P10. He started 17th on the grid, so great start from him. What on earth has happened down the back for Washi? Gets past Zek. He must be absolutely furious with that. Denzamo holds on to P1 then. Rob 2K into P2. I told you to watch out for him. And what has happened? There he is. Looks like there's been a problem further down for somebody. Jerry Force has really pulled himself through the grid there. He's battling up with these guys in the points. Already, Seika runs wide. That'll give him 2 positions. As Noodle looks down the inside, that's a bit messy. And that looks like a problem for Jerry Force, actually. Meanwhile, David Ben in P4, he's on the back of McQuiz. And looks like it's a problem for More Than Amazing. He's dropping down the field. Washi rockets back up to P13, as a result up to P12. So there's been massive, massive gains for him down here. With all of that side-by-side action all the way through. So, where is Washi now? P12, an absolute disaster. So here we are then, Denzamo, 1 second clear from Rob 2K in P2 and McQuiz in P3. It's exactly where he needs to be. At this rate, he will take the lead of the championship, but it's all to play for. What an incredible start. All instigated by the McLaren of Boniface diving down the inside, making contact with Washi and spinning him into the gravel, making him come back out on track, and ended in contact there. David Ben run massively wide, holds onto the car, but now McQuiz begins to challenge Rob 2K for P2 then. It's all fallen into his hands, and now Washi has got to make the drive of the century and get himself back into the points. He's going to make a move on Limaro for P11. Limaro's going to fight that position. And that was a corner cut there, but he holds on as we see a problem for somebody in Sector 2. Didn't quite see who it was. But I think that's the Washi past Limara around the outside. Yes, it is into P11. Oh, yeah, Jerry Force. That's what the problem was. And Washi back into the points. He's made 10 positions in one lap. Which is excellent driving from your championship leader. But an absolute disaster. As we see Noodle now going to make a move on Seika, perhaps. Into the last corner. Here we go. Down the inside for the McLaren. But not going to happen. So Washi is probably absolutely furious behind the wheel of that car. The red mist has descended and he has got to find a way past these guys and close it back up to the top as Noodle will try and make a move, but now Washi is with the back of them. Of course, this is not going to help his tyre wear. He's going to have to work extremely hard to get himself back up to where he needs to be. We were hoping for some side-by-side action with McQuiz today, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And Rob2K challenging the leader, Denzamo. We just see it on the timing screens there. Rob2K really keeping him honest as a great run from McQuiz for Washi through that right-hander. He's going to duck down the inside versus Noodle there, and into P9 he will go. A couple of drivers making pit stops there. Just see Daniel UK out, Ghost Hunter in for a wing change, Jerry Force in for a wing change, it looks like. So how are the debutants getting on? The debutants, Jerry Force in P20, the More Than Amazing in P13. And Jerry Force in P20 currently as a result of an accident. So then, DRS enable this lap. But look at the gap Denzamo has. McQuiz sets fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which shows how hard he is pushing. So all 5 cars, but almost 6 cars. Well, actually we have 5 cars in shot there. All within 1 second. Washi gets his way past Seika in the DRS zone, down the inside into turn 1 into P8. But he's now got a 6-second gap to make up to Buffon. So back to the top then. Well, we'll go back to 11th and 12th for a second. We see a little bit of a ding-dong battle going on between Limaro and Jason. For P11, looks like to have petered out. We're going to go back to the top though, because Rob2K is really challenging Denzamo. Rob2K had a great run in Singapore, was looking to take a podium, didn't quite end out well for him, but he's really challenging the leader here. McQuiz just hanging back a little bit, 1 second behind. He can let these guys battle and use that to gain an advantage without pushing too hard. So Rob2K about to challenge for the Grand Prix lead then. He's a 10th of a second behind Denzamo. Big slide, but catches it. But that won't help him. So David Ben with a massive twitch in the background. Loses a lot of time. Denzamo's going to be very, very vulnerable here. Down towards turn 1 because he's the only one without DRS. So out of the last turn then. We're going to lap 5. Denzamo leads. Rob2K P2 and McQuiz P3. Rob2K sets the fastest lap, taken away by Boniface shortly afterwards. Rob2K closing in the DRS zone. Can't quite make a move just yet. Round the first corner they go for the 5th time today. Washi is making up a lot of time on Buffon. He's pulled a second out of him and he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's pushing very hard after that lap 1 incident. But Rob2K is the man in control, it looks like. He's looking for a way past. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2. We don't know who that's for. But that was quickly withdrawn. We see gravel being spewed up there by something or other. That is the top 4 within 1 shot. Oh my goodness, I think that's Ghost Hunter on the edge of the track there. Almost making contact. Boniface beginning to challenge McQuiz as well. As I'm pretty sure that is Ghost Hunter having a torrid time there. Yeah, it is. And Rob2K drops well back actually. 1.1 behind now. And McQuiz is the one really vulnerable now to Boniface. The man who took 1 victory this season. Hasn't really had a great run of form. but looks to be back in it now as McQuiz has a big twitch coming through that right-hander there. So Boniface is the only one with DRS at this point in time. He's going to be challenging the championship contender. Tenzama has now breathing space of 1.2 seconds over the man in second, Rob 2K. David Ben also closing in a little bit. Here comes Boniface. Will he try and move into turn 1? No, he won't. So these guys kind of settle down for a little bit. Just noticing. A bit of a battle. This battle's still going on between Jason and Lamaro. He will have DRS. Let's see if he can get the slipstream he needs. Things a little bit too far back for this one. Them guys are still battling away. Meanwhile, Washi actually, I think got past Seika. I didn't even notice that. Oh no, he did actually. Never mind, I was focusing on someone different, but he is pushing very hard. David Ben has gone into the gravel trap. Disaster for him. Buffon gets past. Washi will come through as well. There is Washi and gets into P7. And he's lost a bit of his front wing. You can see there the end plate has completely gone on the right-hand side. Washi now 2.9 behind the man in P6, Buffon. Really pushing very hard. Meanwhile, Hoink has been having a quiet one. He's in P5 right now. But now, oh, Rob 2K loses the back end. Catches it somehow. But McQuiz gets past. And now it's going to be a bit messy as we go down towards the last corner. McQuiz gets DRS and gets past into P2, that'll be. 2.6 the gap between them now. Boniface slipstreams past. But will he have a go? Trying to get past McQuiz. Rob 2K tries to hold around the outside. Gets punted. Denzalma comes into the pit lane. McQuiz will lead the Grand Prix. Boniface will now battle for P2. So Rob 2K into P2. Boniface into P3. Let's see down the main straight. Who's going to have the balls go down the inside? It's going to be Boniface. Rob 2K locks up massively. But he can't quite make the move, can Boniface. McQuiz into the lead of the Grand Prix. Denzalma onto soft tyres. Washi gets past as a result. So the battle for P2 rages on. McQuiz now has clean air to open the gap. Boniface gets a twitch on. More than amazing. Looks like he's battling with his teammate for P10. Look at this. This is for the points. We had helicopter shots of these guys going at it then. Lamar into P10. More than amazing into P11. And Jason P12. Two Saubers about to go wheel to wheel. Perhaps. David Ben into the pit lane after a disaster. He's got a 5-second stop go as well. Washi banging in the laps and looks like he's closing up to Buffon very, very quickly indeed. But he will then have almost a 9-second gap to open, or to close, to Boniface and the leaders. Denzalma came out in P9 in front of these guys. Riding on board with the returning driver, more than amazing. Lamar made his debut last race out. And this is going to be an interesting battle between the two teammates. He's going to try and nip one down the inside. No. McQuiz comes into the pit lane. Boniface will stay out and remain in the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Rob 2K comes in. Hoink also comes in. Will Buffon come in? No. And Washi, he's got to stay out. He's got to push on further to make up that time difference. There is McQuiz. McQuiz will have a stop in hand. So Washi has got to push as hard as he can. McQuiz will come out in P5. He'll actually come out in P7. It's going to be tight with Denzamo. Where's Denzamo? Oh, Denzamo just nips in front and remains in the lead of the Grand Prix, technically speaking. But McQuiz is a lot closer to the back of Denzamo than he has been all race long. So this is essentially the battle for the race lead. Washi, Buffon, Boniface and Seika have all yet to stop. And Washi is about to, I think, make a move on Buffon. He's been pushing very hard these last few laps. He's made up 17 positions from the start after that incident. And Noodle also challenging Seika as well, with Denzama right in the back. But battling with him will not help him hold McQuiz at bay. Surely team orders in play here for Denzama to hold McQuiz back as long as possible. Does Washi make the dive into the pit lane? Or will he stay out? Boniface, he stays out for another lap. Buffon in P2. He's going to have Washi bearing down his neck. And they're both going to stay out. Will Buffon fight this position? Well, Washi is very, very close to the back of him. It will probably be no contest for him. Washi will go past and take second place in this Grand Prix. In the background, you can see Denzamo and McQuiz and all of those guys. As we see a move between Noodle and Seika down the main straight there. Those guys are battling away, and all that has let Denzama close up to the back of them. I think McQuiz just needs to take it easy and just make sure he doesn't take any damage. But at the current pace, it looks like Denzama would still come out in the lead and McQuiz would come out in P2. Judging by the gaps, look at that move from Noodle around the outside, it looked like, or was he trying to defend? Now Denzama's going to get involved, and look at McQuiz, look at the run, he's got this for the lead of the race, down the inside, Denzamo and McQuiz go wheel to wheel. This is third position in the championship and second position in the championship, going at it. McQuiz on the outside, Denzamo on the inside. McQuiz will try to go around the outside, he can't quite do it. Denzamo will block the apex and hold on. So a titanic scrap is going on down the midfield. He's getting held up by Seika. Boniface makes the dive into the pit lane. And down the inside from McQuiz. Can he make it? No, he can't. Denzama will have DRS on Seika then. Washi stays out and takes the lead of the Grand Prix back. So Seika will probably have to back out of this one and let McQuiz to go through, but no, he holds on. But sure, there's going to be no contest for McQuiz to get past here. So he gets the slipstream, and just look at the straight line speed. But look who's in the background, Rob2K, getting involved in the background, holding on. And who's that coming out of the pit lane in front? It's Boniface on the inside. He gets involved. He comes out in front of all of them. So the overcut has worked to Boniface, and he is essentially in the lead of the Grand Prix. Except he's on medium tyres, so he's going to be at a pace disadvantage. Denzama's got to get past, but look at Rob2K, he's got past, and contact between McQuiz and Rob2K, but Rob2K has made that move. So the mid-pack has gone absolutely wild. Rob2K has got in front of McQuiz for P2 in this Grand Prix, actually P3 that'll be, because Boniface has taken over the lead of the Grand Prix. Only just. We're on lap 10 of 28. So Boniface has made that overcut work to perfection. And has come out in front of all of these guys. So he pushed really hard on those few laps to make sure he made up that deficit. And there it is. That's Boniface getting past his teammate. Denzama will also get past as well and gets a massive slipstream off of Boniface as well. So he's going to think about a move here. This is for the lead of the Grand Prix. Top two guys have not made a stop as of yet. There's some driver coming into the pit lane there. It's Seika. This will be Rob2K trying to get a move on Noodle as he goes down the inside. No drama at all with that one. McQuiz has got to find a way past here. So Buffon sticking with Washi then. He's 1.6 behind. Boniface is 8 seconds behind these guys. He's on medium tyres and he's surely going to the end on that set. More than amazing with the fastest lap of the race then. He's down in 15th. But there he is. Going very, very quickly. And David Ben, look at where he is. He's down in 14th. After all of that, after the incident he had. He's going to make his way past Seika. This will be for P13. Let's see if he can make this move then. Will he make this move down the inside? No. He almost collects Seiko because he gets so close to the back of him. We will come back to that one. So the top three, technically speaking, very spread out, as Ghost Hunter is the first retirement from the Malaysian Grand Prix. And he has pulled off to the side, and that's it for his race. So will David Ben try a dive perhaps? Yes, he will. No, thinks about it, shows his nose. We also have Hoying trying to get away past Limaro for P8, this will be. And he just simply launches one down the inside, no drama, but now Limaro gets the cut back on the inside and holds on to that position. But Hoying will have DRS, and this should be a relatively easy move for him. He's going to have to go to the outside if he wants this one. There he goes to the outside. Limaro tries to hold on the brakes. Hoying trying to hold around the outside, getting the view from Jason's car here. And here we go, he does get that move done. So back to the front, technically, Rob2K challenging Denzamo, and there it is, the rain has fallen. So that was what Washi was counting on, going 12 laps deep into this Grand Prix. And now he's going to have the advantage of a free stop. It has worked to perfection. So that was his gamble, and it looks like to have paid off. But how will it get wet enough is the next question. So, Rob2K on the back of Denzamo. And these guys will not want to have seen that rain, because they know that Washi, technically speaking, if it gets wet enough, has the advantage here. So through the final corner, More Than Amazing gets past David Ben there into this next section. There's David Ben fighting his way on the outside, trying to go around the outside of that right-hander, and gets it nicely done, actually. So that was a lovely move from David Ben to hold on to that position. Noodle comes in, and will he make the jump to the inters? Yes, he will. So that Noodle is the first onto the set of intermediate tyres. And will that work out for him? And Boniface has actually reeled in Buffon, and just up the road is Washi. So these guys are not far behind. Washi, and Rob2K is all over the back of Denzamo here. He surely can smell blood here. And there is Boniface making a move on Buffon. Buffon on 13-lap-old super softs. They need to get past to offset the deficit for the pit stops, because all these guys will have to make another one if it gets wet enough. 3.4 seconds, 3.7. Boniface trying to go around the outside, but he's going to be vulnerable to Denzamo, who's going to sneak one down the inside if possible. Where is Rob2K in all of this? He's there. McQuiz hanging back. As we see, there's Boniface going down the inside for second place in the Grand Prix. Now he's got to really get his socks on and go for it here. Denzamo now will try and get past Buffon. He's got a lot of straight line speed in that Toro Rosso. Rob2K will try and follow suit. Washi can now see all these guys in his mirrors as he's Buffon trying to fight off Rob2K, but Rob2K will change to the inside and get that move done. All that has allowed McQuiz to close up a little bit. But Denzamo now right on the back of Boniface. And these guys have got to chase down Washi. They're 2.2 behind these guys. Look at that train. That is the first 6 cars in one camera shot. These guys have really got the rockets on the cars as such, and closed up Washi so quickly. So all these guys will have to come in at once. 1.1 seconds. Washi is struggling on those tyres. Does he have a puncture? Looking out for any signs of puncture. No, just extreme blisters, it looks like. Boniface is now right with the championship leader. He's going to be looking for a weight pass for the lead of the Grand Prix. Denzamo is going to be looking, though, first, as he's going to launch on the inside of Boniface for P2 in the Grand Prix. Can he do it? No! Washi runs wide. Denzamo gets through. And now in the background, look at Buffon fighting with McQuiz. McQuiz tries to get past, and he does do that. Now, he's got to get past his championship rival. Washi is just up the road, and he can hardly believe his eyes. Boniface, now in P2, chasing after Denzamo, and Rob2K is right with him. Look at the blisters on the tyres of Washi. He's got to come in. Or will he stay out? He's going to stay out. And we're going to finally see a little bit of side-by-side action between the two championship leaders. Washi and McQuiz about to go wheel to wheel. Meanwhile, up front, Boniface looking to get past Enzo. A bit of contact made. Is Rob2K on the inside? No, not quite. Is McQuiz making a move on Washi? Yes, he is. Switchback move. Championship rivals side by side into the next corner. He gets the switchback. Who gets the better traction? He's trying to hold his championship rival off. He does do so. Denzamo holds on to the lead of the Grand Prix for now. He actually makes the move into the lead of the Grand Prix. I actually missed that, but he is now back in the lead. And look at this, championship rivals, wheel to wheel. And Washi is holding him off. The last time he had to do this was in Australia to get past. He's going to go around the outside. No, yes he is. Around the outside of the double right-hander. Two championship leaders side by side. And McQuiz makes that move. What a move. Past the championship leader. And he's got past it to P4. And now he can chase after Rob2K. What a stellar move. Washi can't quite hold it together. It doesn't seem to have worked. Blistered too much. Meanwhile, Rob2K challenging Boniface. And, of course, the harder compounds will be a lot better in these wet conditions, so Boniface really has an advantage, but Rob2K looks so quick. DRS not disabled yet, so they obviously don't think it's wet enough to put on inters. Big wiggle from Boniface there. Denzamo still in the lead of this Grand Prix, as he was. Where is Washi? He's finally made the jump into the pit lane after 16 laps on the super softs. Now he's going to go onto a set of intermediate tyres. And where is this going to bring him out is the next question. Rob2K has binned it! Oh dear, dear, dear. He has put it in the wall. And as he lost a bit of his front wing, it doesn't look like McQuiz now into P3 as a result of that. But Boniface still challenging Denzamo, still holding on. Washi will come out in P7 on the intermediate tyres. Rob2K still out on track, but his team has gone onto the intermediate tyres. He's got to get past. Oh dear, they're really struggling in the wet conditions now. But Boniface on the harder of these compounds looks a lot more comfortable. Now these guys will have seen that Washi has come in, so they will now know that they have to make a pit stop. But these guys obviously don't think it's wet enough just yet. And Boniface is still looking for a way past Denzamo. Denzamo, no victories this season. Boniface, one victory. McQuiz not able to keep up with them. Rob2K gets past Buffon. Still trying to go side by side into the next left-hander. Goes round the outside. Same as David Ben did. And gets that move nicely done. Meanwhile, Boniface goes into the lead as Denzamo makes the dive into the pit lane. He will have seen that his teammate has made his pit stop. And it looks like the Mercedes crew have come in for Jerry Force. McQuiz will stay out, as it is actually getting a bit lighter. So I don't know if these guys have made the right call, but we will see in due course, as the rain has really kind of eased off a little bit in certain sections. But Boniface in the lead of the Grand Prix, McQuiz in P2. Washi is on intermediates and will now get past all of these guys. Rob 2K, he's going to get in front of him. Yes, he does, into P4. So Washi into P4 in this Grand Prix. So Washi is now about 30 seconds adrift of Boniface in P1. So Boniface really has a pit stop in hand to put on a set of intermediates, and surely he's got to do that now. DRS is disabled. That must be the call for the drivers to come in and put on a set of intermediate tyres. Washi will have the advantage. He's on the intermediate tyres. These guys are on dries in the wet conditions. And this is turning out to be an absolutely incredible race of attrition. DRS disabled means it is too wet for drivers to use the drag reduction system, and is the call for these guys to come into the pit lane. Boniface makes the dive into the pit lane for intermediate tyres. Where is he going to come out relative to Washi? He's 8 seconds clear of McQuiz. Where is McQuiz going to come out relative to Washi? He can't make mistakes like that coming into the pit lane. So, he is about 30-ish seconds ahead. Careful on the way in. Denzamo is going to take the lead comfortably. Take the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix. He's on intermediate tyres. Washi coming down the back straightaway. Boniface coming out of the pit lane. Denzamo's going to come out. He's going to come down. Boniface is just coming out, and Denzamo goes into the lead. But where is Washi? Where is McQuiz? McQuiz is going to come out in front. Crucially, McQuiz gets out in front, but Washi will have the momentum. So McQuiz comes out in front, but who is better in the wet conditions? But as it stays, McQuiz don't think will have enough to take the lead at the championship. Washi will just have enough to hold on. But Denzamo is on to take his first victory, but it's not over yet, because De Boniface is challenging very, very hard indeed for this race victory, to take his second one of this season. So McQuiz has come out 2.5 seconds ahead of Washi. So McQuiz on for another podium. The gap between third and fourth is 3 points, so he'll just bring the gap down to 4 points. And Washi will still hold on. And even if Washi does finish ahead, he'll only bring the gap to 10 points. So it's still very much on. More Than Amazing, by the way, is in 10th place, fighting for the points. We still have 10 laps to go, and the race lead is still undecided. DRS will be disabled, and Denzamo looks like he's running a lot less wing, as I think David Ben has just made a move on More Than Amazing around the outside. So that's a great move from David Ben, your winner last time out in Singapore. Hasn't had the best of times today. Is More Than Amazing. We'll try and make a move back down the inside. Not quite going to do that there. So Washi doing a great job. You got to remember, he had a crash on lap 1, dropped to the back of the grid, and is now back in P4, 2 seconds behind McQuiz. Will we see that side-by-side action we've so been longing for? We saw it a little bit earlier, at a bit of an unfair advantage to McQuiz. So then, further down the grid, the guys who have had a bit of a quiet race are Zek, who's now challenging Seika, Ian in 14th, and Daniel UK, and those guys having a quiet race down the back. Gap stays at around 0.8 of a second between the two leaders. With 9 laps to go. And Ghost just saying that the championship will be decided at the last race. It very much looks like that currently. Because the guys are just so closely matched that it just looks like it's just going to come down to the last race in Abu Dhabi, which is another 5 weeks away, as Boniface somehow holds on to the rear end of that car, but now drops to about 3 seconds behind Denzamo. And Denzamo is looking to take a stunning victory in Malaysia. Never would have expected it. But there he is in the lead of the Grand Prix. And now Washi closing in on McQuiz. We saw it happening in Singapore where he closed into the back of him. And he ended up in the wall. Too eager on the power to get past. I believe it was McQuiz anyway. As we see David Bennett, More Than Amazing, still together, fighting for the tail end of the points. The last points paying position is 10th position. And just noticing, it looks like Denzamo had a bit of a problem because the gap's now 1.9. We're keeping an eye on this battle for 10th position. See if More Than Amazing can take some points for Sauber. As we see Zek getting past Seika down the main straight there. Seika trying to hold the inside, can't quite do it. So back to the battle for third. 1.2 seconds. The current positions, 4-point gap. If they swap, 10 points. So the championship will still stay in Washi's favour no matter what, but he wants to keep that gap as low as possible. Or as big as possible, excuse me. We have 7. We will have 7 laps to go next time around. The gap between Boniface and Denzamo, 1.4 seconds. So Boniface really has got some good pace in these wet conditions. As I think we're going to see a battle between Ian and Jason. They both got past Seika there. So we'll keep an eye on that battle, of course, as we do. As Caddy Damus actually has been having a really quiet race. Is now up battling with Hoink for 7th. And indeed, Ghost just mentioning, looks like for sure this time that the point scoring streak for Ian is going to end, unless we had a miracle last time in Singapore where 2 guys crashed out just at the right time for him to get 10th position. It doesn't look like it's going to happen this time, so it'll be a shame to end that streak for him. But the only kind of battle that's happening right now is between these 2 guys, Caddy Damus and Hoink. And the gap between Washi and McQuiz has gone up as Caddy Damus locks it all up into turn 1. Keeps it out of Hoink's back end though. Noodle coming in, looks like he's coming in for another set of intermediates. Look at with the wear on those tyres. Or is it a 5-second stop go? I think it's a stop go. So now, More Than Amazing into 10th. So Caddy is still battling away with Hoink, trying to get past. Caddy had a podium in Silverstone and also led a few laps of the opening round. Was looking very quick actually in that opening round, just ended up on the wall unfortunately for him. Just noticed in the background, More Than Amazing still battling with David Ben. These guys are having a massive battle laps after lap. More Than Amazing with a great run out of that double right. He's going to have to go around the outside, or is he going to switch to the inside? Not enough room there. There's contact made, so he couldn't quite make up his mind about which way to go. And so holds on to P10 as of now. Gets some good traction. And what? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. McQuiz gets a 3-second time penalty and will, as a result, will drop behind Washi. So a poor lapse of judgment for him there. And here we go then. More Than Amazing versus David Ben. He's going to come to the outside, perhaps, or good straight line speed for the Ferrari, but he's going to go late on the brakes and maybe try and get the cutback on the way out. Can he get that cutback line? Nah, he gets a kick of oversteer, so he's going to lose a lot of time there. So McQuiz, unfortunately, is now going to drop behind Washi no matter what. And he won't drop behind Rob 2K, but he will drop behind Washi. So it will mean that that championship gap will open up to 7 points. Sorry, to 10 points! As he gets a massive kick of oversteer. Meanwhile, up front, Boniface and then Zamo. Two men we have not seen battle for the lead in a long time. Well, as we've seen with Noodle, the intermediates are starting to wear, but surely they will not pit this late into the Grand Prix. And Boniface is so close to the back of Denzamo now. He's really closed in. We still don't know who's going to win this Grand Prix. Back to that little battle between David Ben and Morton, as we saw. Well, a quick one there at Buffon, launching one down the inside of Hoink. I think this might be Hoink trying to get past, actually. And trying to keep an eye on the one with Boniface and Denzamo as well. We'll come back to that one. Can Hoink maybe try and move around the outside, but try that cutback line? Seika out of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Another retirement for the Haas team. So he's just hung the gloves up. Maybe Hoink will try to maybe launch one cheek one down the inside. No, he's trying to go to the outside. Try and hang it round the outside. Can he do it? No, he can't. So Buffon holds on for now. There's Seika parked up. Shame. McQuiz needs to be careful because Rob 2K is closing in. And he's in danger of dropping behind Rob 2K as well, which would open up the gap even more. So in the end, even though Washi was spun around at the beginning, it's all fallen back into his lap. The gap would open up by a margin of 5 points, so it would open up to 12 points. So McQuiz still has work to do. Rob 2K is 4.7 behind Washi. And Washi is 1.3 behind McQuiz. All he needs to do is stay right there. He doesn't need to battle with him. But he just needs to make sure he makes no mistakes. As Boniface is going to make the move for the lead of the Grand Prix. No, can't quite do it. Backs out of it. Doesn't trust the brakes in the wet conditions. But now we've got the battle for the lead. Buffon is trying to hold off Hoink there. And Caddy Dame's getting himself involved as well. So Hoink with a good run out of that last corner. We'll have the slipstream down to turn 1. The rain is getting a lot worse, it looks like. And he's trying to go around the outside of turn 1. Tried it last time, didn't quite work. Try and get the cutback, but Buffon places the car expertly. And holds it off. Oh! The two championship leaders have collided, and Washi has lost his front wing. So now he's going to drop a long way back if he can try and hold that car, but he's lost a huge chunk of that front wing. What on earth happened? Lapse of judgment, perhaps. Caddy Davis trying to go around the outside of Buffon, gets it done. But what on earth has happened to Washi? It's all gone wrong. Again. So now then, a big chunk of front wing missing. How far can Washi go with that amount of damage? He's going to have a lot of downforce lost. McQuiz really needs to push hard and make up that gap because Rob 2K is coming fast. Dezamo and Boniface still all together then. Boniface makes up a huge chunk of time coming through that right-hander. So this is the battle for the race lead. Dyson spins the tyres. Keeping an eye on this battle for the lead then between Denzamo and Boniface. And Rob 2K is within that 3 seconds, but he's closing fast on Washi, and just the luck just runs out for him. Unfortunately, looks like just a lapse of judgment. More than amazing. 5 second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. So that's his points run over. The penalty starting to come through at the end of the race. With 3 laps to go then, next time by. So Rob 2K, I think, is going to make that move on Washi for P4. And what will essentially bring him into a podium position. But Quiz pushing hard to open that gap. So it's been a most dramatic Grand Prix, the Malaysian Grand Prix. And it's not over yet. I'm going to keep an eye on Boniface through this section. This is where he gains a huge chunk of time. He doesn't need to lift through here. And you can see he just gained a chunk of time. But he's running out of laps. So now McQuiz is ahead by 3 seconds. But only just. Because Washi is driving that car like a champion. With no front end plate. Is still holding on for P4 and has got to try and hold Rob 2K behind. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. As we see Jerry Force not having the best of days there. Battle for the lead. Mistake from Boniface. The gap increases. Rob 2K, is he going to make a move for P4? McQuiz is now 3.5 seconds clear. You can just see him around the corner. So you can see the lack of downforce in Washi's car there as he tries to wrestle the car through, but Rob 2K is going to try and make it. Can't quite do it. 4.1 the gap. All this is allowing McQuiz to open that gap up and push hard and hold on to P3. We're on lap 27 of 28 in the Malaysian Grand Prix. What a race this is turning out to be. Denzamo on for a win, but the race is not over. Washi, can see him going defensive, but McQuiz is 4.5 ahead now. So it's one thing getting behind Washi, but it's another thing to try and pass him even with wing damage. Up front, no move yet. 1 lap to go next time by. Rob 2K has got to make this move if he wants to catch McQuiz. But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Oh, Rob 2K with a big twitch. But if Rob 2K gets by, what will that mean for the championship? It will decrease by 5, bringing the gap to 2 points going into the next round. And it looks like he's going to do it. Rob 2K trying to get past. Can he do it? He's trying so hard to bring the championship even closer. And he's gonna try. And they've made contact. And they've gotten banging wheels. Rob 2K. Is he gonna hold on? Washi trying to hold it on the inside. Yes, he can do it. Meanwhile, up the front for the final lap in Malaysia. Boniface is closer than he's ever been. And going on to the final lap in Malaysia. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on to your hats. Boniface going on to try and take his second victory. Denzamo trying to hold on for his first. Willie's going to try it down the inside of turn 1. No. Rob 2K still can't find a way past. And Washi, how is he holding on here? Oh no! Into the wall! Championship leader! That is a disaster! But they're very, very far ahead. With regards to Hoink, they're a long way ahead. So Washi will still hold on, but he's got no front wing. Denzamo is still holding on for this lead of the Grand Prix, but there's still the back straight. So Boniface is pushing so hard, and what a climax this is turning out to be for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Rob 2K has got more front wing than Washi. Let's see if he can get past. I'd be surprised. And so then, Denzamo is 8/10 clear. I think he's done enough. But it's not over until it's done. Rob 2K gets past Washi, and that brings the gap to 2 points. Denzamo holds on, he's 1 second clear. So all he's got to do is negotiate the final corner. Can he do it? What a Grand Prix! Coming through the final corner. If he can hold it together for the final corner, yes he can! Denzamo wins the Malaysian Grand Prix for Toro Rosso. Boniface in P2. McQuiz has somehow come through to finish in P3 and brings the championship gap to 2 points going into the next round. What a race! What a race is all I can say. Washi, I think, is just about going to hold on for P5. He will be absolutely furious with that. Rob 2K is going to come across the line and finish in P4. But the battle for P7 isn't quite over yet. So watch Washi come across the line for P5. And not a happy man. So this battle's still going on for P7. Let's see then. David Ben, good recovery drive from him. Buffon goes a bit wide, but should be able to hold on for P7. 7 and 8 for Ferrari. Caddy Damas in P9, and Jason rounds out the top 10. What a Grand Prix that was. Race of the season, without a doubt. Denzamo takes his first ever AOR victory, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but it's his first win this season, no doubt. And that was a real race. But what a shame. Ian couldn't do it today. He comes across the line in P12, and that 14 race point scoring streak comes to an end in Malaysia. But it was a great season for him nonetheless. More than amazing coming across the line in P14. He was on the wet tyres, interestingly enough. And Limaro comes across the line for P16. Oh my goodness me. What a Grand Prix. That is one to remember. We're going to have the podium celebrations now. We're going to see a Toro Rosso man stand on top of the podium. But it won't be Washi. It's Denzamo on the top step for the first time this season. Boniface in P2, 4 all the way, couldn't quite do it. And P3 for McQuiz. Once again, the championship gap now lies at 2 points. And we're going to Japan next time out. And we will hope to see you then next week. Join us next time for the Japanese Grand Prix. I hope you all enjoyed. But what an incredible race. We'll see you next time in Japan. Good night.